Welcome to the U.S. latest news channel. Watch the video to the end to find out the current and breaking news about the Russian war in Ukraine. We are with you with the last event of the war. Most of Kadyrov's troops died in doneness. Officials said the death toll was around 100. Incoming information stated that one of the leaders of the Chechen National Guard in Russia was seriously injured. People who talked about the subject added that they might be about to die at any moment. According to strategists, Russian military forces carried out terrorist acts in some places in the captured city of Cremina. Russian soldiers punished pro-Ukrainian protesters here and tortured anyone who disobeyed orders. The Ukrainian army, on the other hand, is attacking Russian soldiers from all directions on many fronts. Russian soldiers continue to lose on the war fronts. The struggle of the Ukrainian forces continues to fail Vladimir Putin. Russian forces and Kadyrov soldiers continue to lose on almost all fronts. The Kremlin is at the meeting because of the failures. Due to the visa bans imposed by the European Union on the Russian government, the Russian authorities came together and sought a solution to this problem. Rumor has it that Vladimir Putin is frustrated at the slowdown in progress in Ukraine. So he lost control during the meeting and ended the meeting halfway. In the important meeting held, apart from reclaiming the lands in Ukraine, sanctions made from different countries every day were also discussed. The economic and sociological problems of the Russian state as a result of these sanctions applied to Russia were discussed. In the middle of the meeting, it was reported that Vladimir Putin interrupted the meeting as a result of increased shouting. It is thought that such meetings, which are held to talk about the problems that Russia has experienced, will not yield a fruitful decision. During the Russian occupation of Ukraine, Ivan Sushko was the mayor of the village of Mikhailovka in Ukraine, the region occupied by Russia. Ivan Sushko was assassinated by placing a bomb in the car he was in. Vladimir Rogov, who made a statement on the subject, stated that Ivan Sushko, who served as a representative of the authority imposed as a result of the Russian occupation in certain areas of Ukraine's Zaporozhye region, died in the hospital after the attack on August 24th. It was detonated after a bomb placed under the seat of his car was activated. The Russian state has faced several such attacks in the regions where it has started to establish authority in the lands it occupied, and it seems that such attacks will continue as long as this occupation continues. We are talking about Ahura, the deputy mayor of the Novokakha region, which belongs to Ukraine in the Ukrainian occupation, which started on August 6th, and the Kherson region, which is partly under Russian occupation. He was killed as Russia's chosen military forces were leaving their homes. Working under the control of the Kremlin and Moscow, Putin's soldiers revolted in Donbass because of the situation they were in. In the war against Ukraine, the Russian invaders suffered huge losses. Anatoly Stefan, an officer of the Ukrainian military units, said that in addition to this, they shot and published a video in which the fighters addressed Putin. "We did everything the government told us to do, what the people who gave it to us told us, and we treated the people here badly." Luhansk People's Republic leader Leonid Paschik announced the claim that Luhansk castle was completely captured in a statement at the beginning of July. Due to the explosion, the soldiers under his control are rebelling to return to their homes. After Chechen soldiers gave up fighting against the powerful Ukrainian army and declared war on the Russians. Putin is stunned. Ukrainian soldiers now include Chechens on both fronts of the war to help Chechen soldiers fight against the Russians. So as you can see, Chechens are fighting on behalf of both countries, as well as members of the Jakarta Battalion, Sheikh Mansour Battalion, and the Russian army from the Kadyrov forces. At the beginning of the invasion, a drone soldier said he was fighting in Ukraine because he believed Russia should be destroyed. This is where Chechen commander Ramazan Kadyrov gave a general order that he send hundreds more warriors to the east. Kornilov got everything right, clock and jurist Russia, and the order was carried out. Despite everything that happened, they did not die. The passing of the Sterling was a sad event, but Putin is in office and will undoubtedly outlive them. Southern Kafka has a troubled history with Russia as far as Chechnya. There have been 2 armed incidents between them in the last 50 years or so. There is a new development related to the war. New and good news for the Ukrainian army continues to come. Volodymyr Zelensky, Antonio Guterres, and Recep Tayyip Erdogan held a meeting. Recently, you had a three-way meeting. Everyone is curious about the speeches these three leaders made inside. According to the latest information received from the lobby, an agreement was signed between the presidents of the two countries, the Republic of Turkey and Ukraine. It is thought that relations between the two countries will improve after this agreement. Putin, on the other hand, is uncomfortable with this agreement. What do you think about this deal that Recep Tayyip Erdogan made with Ukraine? The war continues to harm Russia in many ways. The destruction of a Russian military facility by Ukrainian soldiers inflicted great damage on the Russian side. Wagner is Russia's private military company, responsible for the administration of an outpost in the town of Papagino in the Luhansk region. The number of Russian soldiers lost could not be determined when the missiles hit the outposts. Along with the troops at the station, military equipment was also destroyed. Several guns and human remains were said to have been recovered from the scene of the accident in the published photos. This attack renders Russian weapons unusable. Currently, according to the scene in Luhansk, Russia has to establish new military bases in important places in the region to maintain the current level of control. But these Russian soldiers are not very keen on relocating after receiving such a severe blow. Russian soldiers want to return to their homes. Do you think this attack will change the course of the war? Can Russian military forces defend themselves effectively? Will the Ukrainian army be able to save Luhansk from occupation? It was reported that explosions took place in the Russian-occupied areas last night without stopping. When the explosion areas were examined, it was revealed that fire was opened on important Russian supply points. The strategy of the Ukrainian soldiers seems to be an effort to destroy the Russian army. Last week, some explosions took place in Crimea. It was determined that too many missiles were used to detonate the Russian airbase. In the attack on Russia using Bayraktar TB2S, the demolition of the bridge was successfully completed. According to the Ukrainian senior executive, who shared his thoughts on the events, Ukraine offered Russia a wonderful event. The analysis of recent events is as follows. It is stated that the course of the war has changed drastically thanks to the aid of American weapons and the assistance of other countries, and Ukraine has turned to its advantage. During the Russian occupation of Ukraine, the Russian ships were heavily damaged by Ukraine. According to the statement made by the Ukrainian armed forces, 2 high-speed amphibious ships of the Russian Navy were destroyed near the Sand Dune River in the southern region of Ukraine. Reconnaissance and sabotage ships belonging to the Russian Navy were destroyed by Ukrainian artillery and missile attacks. With the contact of the missiles belonging to the Ukrainian side with the ships, the Russian ships were sunk. Ukrainian forces sent various missiles 80 kilometers to 2 ships of the Russian Navy. During the attack, the radars of the ships belonging to the Russian Navy could not detect these missiles. The failure of these ships of the Russian Navy began to frighten the Russians. After this attack, the Russian army started to lose a lot of losses on land in Ukraine. The Ukrainian military repulsed attacks on them in several regions this week. Lithuania carried out an action that made the Russians very angry for no reason. They decided to ban the Kremlin's approval to move. Russia carries out equipment transportation through the territory of Kaliningrad. But something happened that they never expected. It was met with a very strong decision from Lithuania. This move made by Lithuania, the Kremlin spokesman, who announced that the European Union has put back the sanctions it has taken in response to the Russian invasion, received support from various countries. The Kremlin Peskov did not like the Lithuanian decision and made a statement against it. In the statement made, the Kremlin received great support from Peskov. According to this person, this decision is extremely different and it is obvious that it was taken by the decision of the European Union. This is a violation of everything. He said that the sanctions that have been decided will also be applied to the direct transitions. It turned out that the promises made to the Russian soldiers occupying the Ukrainian lands were not kept. Russian soldiers, who came to war in return for certain conditions, are not satisfied with the situation. They want the promised conditions to be met. The Ukrainian government has intercepted some phone calls of Russian soldiers. Ukrainian Deputy Interior Minister Anton Gerashenko reportedly recorded a telephone conversation in which a woman told a man pretending to be Russian personnel to limp. It has been reported that monetary payments will be made for his rest, but what was said is not fulfilled, and then they deliver nothing. Exactly 1 battalion of soldiers was enraged after this incident, and then started a revolt. He assured the soldiers that the commanders would take care of their business. The communications supported the allegations of the accused. In a conversation with the mother of a Russian soldier in Ukraine, whose whereabouts is unknown, complained about the inadequacy of the